Yo guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. It's your boy Hillman here. For those of you who are new to the channel, welcome. I'm Hillman, a medical doctor in the Netherlands. I've been living in the Netherlands for like 8.5 years. Did my medical education at Maastricht University, and I recently just became a medical doctor in the Netherlands. And in this video, I'm going to be sharing about the procedure for doing residency in the Netherlands for international medical graduates. So people who do not do their medical studies in the Netherlands, and sometimes not in the EU as well. How is it to get a residency spot in the Netherlands? I've been talking to a lot of people. I've been getting a lot of questions lately about people who are coming from the UK, coming from other countries outside of the EU and Switzerland, who are trying to get residency spots but do not know how the process goes. So hopefully in this video I can give you more clarity on the different steps that are there. So if you have those questions as well and you're curious, definitely stick along for the rest of the video. But the first step is, of course, getting your BIG registration. So the BIG registration, B-I-G, capital B-I-G, is a registration which all doctors, medical practitioners, nurses, physiotherapists, anyone who works in the healthcare sector who has responsibility over patients has to get that license. So that's basically your medical license in the Netherlands. So when you finish medical school here, for example, you have to apply and then you get your BIG registration, your license, and then you're good to go. So basically you can independently offer healthcare to patients, right? So that's an important part. So everyone who wants to work in the Netherlands as a doctor, as a healthcare practitioner, nurse, has to get a BIG, a BIG registration. For people who do not have a medical degree from here, you have to show that your medical knowledge, medical skills, and language proficiency are up to standards. I'm not going to go deep into the exams and stuff like that, which you have to take. You have to take language exams up to C1 level. You have to take clinical exams to show that your clinical knowledge is good. You also have to take skills exams to show that your interaction with the patient, physical checkups and stuff like that, all those are up to standard as well. So those are exams you have to take to be able to show that your level of language proficiency, Dutch medical knowledge, and clinical skills and examinations, all those are up to standard. Once you get that, then you get your BIG registration, right? So after you've compiled all your documents, all the necessary things, you send that in and then they let you know, okay, you are up to the standards, everything is okay, then you can get your BIG registration. Now, after your BIG registration, that's the part which for a lot of people is confusing. After your BIG registration, you have to apply to work as a junior doctor. A junior doctor, it's called an ANIOS here. ANIOS stands for Arts Niet in Opleiding tot Specialist. So that's basically a doctor who is not yet in training to be a specialist. That is normally the route to go. Then you get experience. You can also network your way in the field you're interested in. So normally, typically, you have to apply to be an ANIOS in the field you're interested in. If you're interested in surgery, you have to apply for ANIOS surgery. If you're interested in gynecology, apply to be an ANIOS in gynecology. Normally, in the country, there's a high demand for ANIOS. So if you have your BIG, there's most likely that there's going to be a hospital somewhere. It might not be in the big city you want, but there's a hospital somewhere that is looking for an ANIOS in that position. Towards the end of my medical program, I was still interested in neurology, so I was looking at positions, and there were positions all over the country. So there's no shortage of ANIOS positions. There are possibilities to apply for residency directly. People rarely do that because a lot of specializations, for example, you need to do a PhD. If you're trying to go into surgery, dermatology, internal medicine, really heavily wanted specializations, then a lot of times they also require you to like do a PhD or be in the process of doing a PhD. Right? The PhD is part of what they would look at when they're contemplating who to take in for their residency programs. A lot of the time they say it's not required, but it's one of those things which you know if you don't have a PhD and there's another person who has a PhD or who has done a PhD, they're most likely ranked higher. But these are things which once you start working as an ANIOS in the hospital and you talk with specialists, they can also give you more insights into how best to navigate that procedure. So when you work as an ANIOS for 1, 2, 3 years, and the really important thing as well is to network properly. So while you're working as an ANIOS, you're networking with other specialists in the training hospitals and stuff like that. Or you've networked your way and you also have a mentor who can help you navigate this. Finding a mentor is really important. Finding someone who can help you navigate your career in that specialization you're interested in is really important too. And you always talk with your mentor, and depending on your progress as well, your mentor can tell you, okay, I think now you can apply for a residency spot, and then of course tell you where. But these are things which once you're working as an ANIOS, depending on the hospital you're working in, and if you're working with other colleagues as well who are also ANIOS, then they can tell you and give you tips and tricks on when to apply, where to apply, and all this kind of things. So then it becomes a lot more self-explanatory how to go about the application for the residency spot. But it's very uncommon that people who just get their BIG directly apply to residency, right? Let's say you came from a country where you've done residency for like 4 years, 5 years, you've done PhD promotions, you have the language proficiency, you're confident in the field, and you were almost done where you were, you can go ahead and directly apply, right? It's a really personalized thing. I cannot say it's a one-size-fits-all advice. If you need help, if you need advice with like really figuring out how your situation works best here, you can book a coaching session with me. The link can be found on my TikTok page, Instagram page. I have a link tree there where you can book a session automatically. So you can really reach out and then we can talk more about your personal situation. But if you have a lot of experience, if you have a lot of, like, you've worked in different places already, you can apply directly, and maybe they can make an exemption and be like, oh, this person actually has a lot of experience, this person has, the PhD and everything, definitely the wealth of knowledge is there. You don't need to go be an ANIOS. Sometimes that exemption can be made, but it's very uncommon that people who just get their BIC, come from abroad, apply for residency spots, and they get in directly. I've not seen that, I've not heard that. Please, if you've had that experience, let me know. That's also good for other people to know as well. But normally you have to go through the ANIOS route, and then after a few years of doing that, networking your way, learning the traits of the specialization, then you can apply to be an ANIOS. And an ANIOS is an Arts in Opleiding tot Specialist. Depending on what field you get in, what you're interested in, it could be 4 to 6 years, and then after that, fellowship and the rest. But basically, you have to first come in, get your BIC, get licensed here, and then start working as a junior doctor, ANIOS, maybe a PhD if that's necessary, and then after networking your way up, applying to become an ANIOS, do the 4 to 6 years, and then fellowship, and then you're a specialist. So basically, that's the way to go about it in the Netherlands. I hope this offers some clarity or some clarifications to people who had these questions. Again, if you have any other questions, things which have not been answered in this video, where you would like more personalized advice, you can book a one-on-one call with me. Links can be found on my Instagram pages, my TikTok pages. It's ox_legacy, OX_legacy. You can find me on most platforms. Just book a session and we can have a chat about your own personal situation. But that has been it for this video, guys. Hope it was helpful, and feel free to let me know in the comment section if it was helpful. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe to stay updated with this kind of videos that are going to be coming up as well. But until next time, guys, stay blessed and peace.